Hi everybody and welcome back to Smart Home Improvement people today. Now, I'm absolutely blasted, so I've just been down the allotment, so I do apologise. Okay, and I've just killed myself. Not literally, but nearly. So today what I thought I'd talk about is something, a question people have asked me for years. Okay, which is, why is double glazing so expensive? Now, in a nutshell, and I'm going to try to explain this in a way that doesn't get me sued by any companies, and that is, double glazing isn't expensive. And I know all of you are going to be screaming at me and tapping away saying, yes, it bloody well is expensive. £700 for a window, up to £2,500, if not more, for a bay window. Obviously you can get them cheaper than that. Okay, and people scream at me saying, why do you guys charge us so much? The first thing is, and this is the way I explain it, if you go to a bigger company, expect to pay more money. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with going to the likes of Anglian or Everest or any of those types of companies. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, you're paying for heritage, you're paying for brand. Okay, at the end of the day, that's what you're paying for. It's a bit like if you go and buy a new car, why is a Aston Martin or a Ferrari or a Jaguar way more expensive than a Ford Fiesta? They both do exactly the same job. They get you from A to B. Yes, okay, you can put the argument that they go a lot faster, the Ferrari, the Jaguar and the Aston Martin, than the Ford Fiesta. But the reality is they do exactly the same job. You're paying for the name. Okay. Now, I did a video recently basically saying, if you look at warranties, they're pretty much the same. The product is pretty much the same. Okay. Now, this is where the big difference is. Okay. So, and the thing is, I've worked for Anglian, Everest, SafeStyle, Fast Home Improvements, Apple Home Improvements. I've worked for all of those companies. Some of them companies aren't in business anymore. Okay. And they're pretty much all household names, or they have been household names across the south of England, some nationwide as well. Okay. And the way they work is exactly the same. There's not much that difference in price. There is a little bit, but not a great deal. They all do exactly the same kind of warranties. But the reason why those types of companies are more expensive is this. Okay, so you're going to have a door canvasser knocking on your door. Now that door canvasser, he may be getting a small basic wage. He's going to get a commission for getting you an appointment. Okay, and then if you actually purchase off his lead, okay, he's then going to get a percentage of sale. Normally, not always, okay, but normally they will. Okay, then you're going to have the sales rep. Sales rep's going to come round. Okay, now the thing with sales reps, and this is what people don't like, is a sales rep's coming round to make as much money as humanly possible for his pocket, because they're paid on commission. Yes, they get a basic wage, a lot of them, with some companies, but they're looking to make as much money as humanly possible because they get paid a commission. Okay, so they get a percentage of the sale. Then you're going to have the canvassing manager. He's going to be getting commission on sale and on leads. Then you've got the sales manager. Then you may have a branch manager. Then you've got an area manager. Then you've got a regional manager. Okay, they're all taking a piece of the pie. And then you've got the company itself. And then if you've actually purchased the actual installers as well. So all of those people are going to be taking a piece of the same sale. So if you've got a window, you can't be surprised if they're going to charge £700 for a window. You know, and classic one was a few years ago, I remember this. I got in a lot of trouble with, say trouble, I had some people have a go at me because I basically put a post out saying that if you wanted to, you could get your a window done for about £300 to £400. And I had some installers from a certain company, won't mention what name, Anglian, and they said, oh no, it's not £300 to £400, you're lying through your teeth. It's at least £700. Now this was about 3 to 4 years ago. Okay, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to bother. There's no point arguing over social media. I can't stand doing that type of thing. It's absolutely pointless. Right, and to prove a point, I did a video after they did that, and I basically went and did all the research and went around, okay, online, saying, could I get a window? And I based it on my own home. And the reality was, you can. If you're willing to shop around, you can get cheap prices. You do not have to pay £700 plus for your double glazing. That's reality. But the fundamental problem is that if you go to bigger companies, you've got to expect to pay a premium. Now, if you go to your local double glazier on the corner, you may have one on your high street or something, it's going to be cheaper. And the reason is you got less people taking a bit out of that pie at the end of the day. You know, so if it's your local double glazing company on the corner or on your high street, okay, they may have somebody who goes out and measures it. They may get a little bit. They probably haven't got any canvassing team. They may have a salesperson who's going to go and do it. He may get a little bit. And then you're going to get the installers and the company. So you've got less people taking money out of that pool, which then makes it cheaper. So that's the actual reality of the reason why if you go to these companies, you're going to pay more, but you're paying for the brand name, and you know, they may have better warranties. You may be looking at 10 to 12 year warranties, where if you go to the smaller companies, and I'm going to try and be a bit careful, you may not get as long a warranty. There is the risk that they might not be around, you know, in a year or 2 years' time. That's not to say that they'll go bust, because there's a lot of small companies that have been around for decades. Just got to look at what happened to SafeStyle, Apple Home Improvement that I used to work for. They ended up going bankrupt. They were a massive company on the South Coast. Okay, you know, I used to be based out of Southampton. I used to get sent up to London, onto the Isle of Wight, up to Bournemouth. You know, I used to get sent all over the South Coast. Okay, so there is an argument. Yes, they might not be here tomorrow or in a few years time, but you've just got the same risk at the end of the day with the bigger companies. So I would always say, if you're looking at a smaller budget and you want a like-for-like product, because you can get a like-for-like product from the small glaziers, just go to a glazier, your local glazier. They'll get you a damn sight better price at the end of the day. If you're in the position where you don't really care about money, okay, it's not a problem when you go to the big national companies. And that's the easiest way to explain it. And that's why you can get a difference in how much you'll end up paying. So I hope this I've been able to explain it well enough for everybody. If you've got any questions, drop us a message. But for now, thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you again a bit later.